We're making steamed mussels today. And if you're going to do steamed mussels, you have to buy fresh mussels. I get these from my fishmonger. These were caught 3 days ago. They're from the East Coast. It has all the information on here. Actually, Maine. These are Bay Hill Golds. It's a 10-pound bag. And I like to look them over. We cut any of that off right away. One of these quart containers actually is a pound. We check for open mussels. If it's open, we tap it a little bit. See if it closes. It doesn't. And we get these cleaned up. You want to take these out, but you don't want to pull them out. You just want to get them tight and then cut it off. If you pull it, then you end up killing the mussel right away, and you really want to cook them fresh. But you know, these come pretty clean when they take care of them out on the East Coast. See, it's like it's the part that sticks to the barnacles or the posts where they grow. And we give these a little rinse. One more right away, because I want to make one dairy-free, and I may want to make one with dairy. So you have two options. I'm using white wine lemon juice today, a little heavy cream, shallots, garlic, but you can use shrimp broth, chicken broth, you can use my Pomodoro tomato sauce, vegetable broth, vegetable juice. You can just do white wine and water, lemon juice. You can flavor it with curry, saffron. I think today I'm gonna do it with saffron, because that's the way I used to do it at the restaurant all the time. And I always used to have my salad girl around to wash and clean these mussels. But I wanted to show you that if you're gonna make mussels, you have to use fresh mussels. Because when they're old, that's when they get slimy and fishy. You know, you want it fresh. I mean, these were caught 4 days ago and shipped 2 days ago. So, I mean, these are fresh out of the water this week. And today we're going to be serving this with pan-roasted bread, which simply means we grill the bread on the stove. Because when you're eating something like mussels or clams, steamed clams, you want to have bread that has a little grill on it so it holds together when you dip into the juice. All right, so I've got 2 pots here. Well, I also wanted to show you today, small dice is 1/8 by 1/8. And when you're cutting smaller vegetables, you use the front part of the knife. If you're using larger pieces, then you can use the whole blade. But when you're using a smaller piece, whatever it may be, you know, you start, and you always let the knife do the work. You drag the tip of the knife through, okay? And you don't go really fast. You take your time. You notice how I'm holding the knife with the 2 fingers and it's tilted away from me. And I don't go all the way through the shallot. And you know, as you notice, as I'm cutting, I'm pulling the knife through. And the same thing when I dice this now, I'm going to be letting the knife do the work. Angling that knife away from your fingers, because all your fingers are really do is holding the food. And when you get towards the end, you slow down a little bit, and you turn your end over, and you give it a fine dice one way, and you give it a fine dice the other. If you start doing this kind of a thing, that's when you bruise it, and it gets watery and soggy. Not good. All right, so I did some ahead of time. About a tablespoon or 2 of shallots. I've got minced garlic. I'm going to do a tablespoon. You can do more or less. It's up to you. You can use green onions. You can use fennel. The options are endless. Now to this, we're going to add 2 ounces of white wine. And you want to use a dry white wine, something like Chenin Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc. This is our fresh squeezed lemon juice. You want to do 1 ounce of that. Just a touch of hot sauce. I showed you how to make that a few months ago. Just a touch. Okay. We throw our mussels in. Get those on the stove. We cover them, we turn them on high, and while that's working, we're gonna get our bread started for this. Now I've got day-old bread, which works the best for an application like this because you want your bread a little bit more firm, so when you dip it in the juice, it doesn't fall apart like a wet piece of toilet paper. Now, for the dairy-free, we're brushing this with olive oil, and we're going into a dry pan. And you can use avocado oil, you can put lemon zest in here, you can flavor this oil with crushed red chili, whatever you'd like. The options and the choices are endless. I also oil the outside of the end pieces. I always have melted butter on hand because we use melted butter for a lot of applications here. So the left side here is going to be the melted butter. Yeah, I'm making them both in the same pan. Don't get excited. You obviously wouldn't do this if you were doing it one way or another. But you want to make sure you get both sides oiled. And then we put a pan on top of it, not to squish the bread down, but to help it grill nice and flat. Also, you know, you can see that the lid is not all the way on the top of the saute pan, so it's not going to steam in there. It's going to get crunchy and crusty, and that's what we're looking for. This is a texture thing here with the bread. Now, you can buy a nice loaf of a French baguette, sourdough, a gluten-free loaf at the bakery. That'll work just fine. Just pop it in the oven 5 to 7 minutes, bring it back to life, and you're good. These mussels take less than 3 minutes. Now, I've got a commercial range here, which is pumping out some BTUs, but mussels don't take more than 2 or 3 minutes. That's why this was a perfect appetizer at the restaurant. We could knock this one out in 5 minutes. When you go to a fish market, you know, go to one that's busy. Go to one that has a lot of selection. You know, ask the fishmonger to give you some so you can smell them. If you can smell offensive seafood, you're out. You know, it's like when you buy fish. You know, the fish, the eyes should be clear. They shouldn't be cloudy. But see how those mussels just opened up? You see this one? I mean, that's been less than 2 minutes. Now we're going to turn these both off. And these are going to be the dairy-free ones. These are gold Bay Hill mussels. The shells turn gold when you cook them. Now, this is our liqueur, our mussel liqueur, and we turn that on a low flame just so we can reduce that. I'm going to take a peek at my bread here. See that nice golden brown? That's what we're looking for. Now, in the other one, the one that we're doing regular, the way that we used to do it at the restaurant, so I'm going to take those mussels out. I'm going to get that started and going again. And to this, I'm going to add a touch of heavy cream, about 2 ounces. And I got some saffron here. These are the inside threads of a Spanish flower. They add lots of color. You know, you're looking at 1/8 of a teaspoon there. And we give that a good swirl. And we want to reduce these just like we used to, like we've done beurre blancs. We want to get this to almost dry. We check our bread. Looks like we got some nice grilling going on here. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. This is, you know, a quick way of roasting. Now, on this dairy-free one, you can use coconut milk if you want, or you can use oat, cashew, almond milk. I suggest if you're doing dairy-free, then you just do the white wine garlic with the lemon, fresh herbs, and then eat it with the olive oil bread. And if you're gluten-free also, then pour the whole thing over rice, and it'll be delicious. And maybe add some diced tomatoes or broccoli or fennel to it. You can see this one here. We're at about 3-4 ounces. We want to take that down just a little bit. All right, we need a little bit of salt. The heat is right there, so we're good. We've got about 2 ounces there. We're going to hit this with some fresh dill, Italian parsley, and cilantro. Add just a little more white wine to this. When you're not using dairy, you don't get the viscosity that you're looking for. See how perfectly those mussels are cooked? They're plump, they're juicy, they're cooked, they're not slimy. This is looking good. Those cooked shallots, hit it with some lemons. And the way you eat mussels is you take a mussel and you dip it in the juice from the bowl. See that? See how I have the juice? That's how you eat mussels. You use the shell to hold the sauce. Now, here's the other one. Okay? We're gonna put that back on heat. We're gonna get some cold butter here, about 3 ounces. And just like a beurre blanc, we're gonna swirl that in while it's boiling so it doesn't break. And we're gonna go, as you can see here, we don't want this to get too hot, otherwise it'll break. We want to taste it. Oh my God, that's delicious. Okay, I'm going to turn the heat off.
How's the bread, Dad?
Oh, we're still good. Thank you. Whoever called that one in. Whoever called that one, thank you.
Well, I think the chef said that one.
Thank you, Jeff. My man. Hiya. Okay, I did burn a couple of them. Sorry. I am human. So obviously you pass these mussels down to your salad guy and he does the plate for you while you're still working on other things. And these, how people prefer to eat them, because they're just ready to pick up and eat. Like so. You put this lemon beurre blanc saffron sauce. And that's okay. You got a little piece of butter like that. That's no big deal. You know, this is comfortable fine dining, okay? We're not at the top of the Eiffel Tower today. We hit this with a little bit of fresh herbs. We hit this with lemon. You know, here's the olive oil bread for the dairy-free. You know, now I would obviously be eating these myself. Somebody who works for me says they don't want to try mussels. If they're going to do it, today would be the day. Doesn't even taste like fish. It's not slimy, it's not chewy. It's a tender piece of meat. Now the ones with the saffron butter, I'm going to take the one with the butter that's not melted because that's me. You get all the sauce. You have to try this recipe. It's so simple. We made it in what, 20 minutes? And it's delicious. The key here is use fresh garlic and shallots. Use fresh mussels. Use a good wine that you would drink a glass of, okay? Don't buy something with a screw top on it. Mussels a la Medusa. We did dairy-free today. We hope you try it. Eat mussels. They're delicious and they're good for you. Thanks for the support. We'll see you next week. Zach's getting married next week. The store is now open on Wednesdays, so we're Wednesday through Saturdays now. We open early on Thursdays for the farmer's market. So you can come get your cream puffs, key limes, gelato. We make fresh every day now. Not that we didn't before, but we sell 15 flavors frozen, and we always make 2 flavors of the day. So come check us out. Make mussels, live good, love family. Good night. Tim, you want to try one? Get back here, brother.